Terrible out there, so thank you for being here. So hello and welcome to our 9th and 10th grade parent night, and welcome to any junior families that are watching online at home to join us for the Schoolings presentation. Obviously, as you can see behind me, we do have someone up on the screen who's going to talk to you more about Schoolings in a minute, but I'm Sue Moeller. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the chairperson of Guidance, and we're excited to be presenting this to you tonight. I just want to quickly introduce the guidance department that's with us tonight. We have Mr. Caramore, Mr. Spector, who's over there, Ms. Marr, Mr. Rosenberg, and unfortunately, Ms. Angelillo and Ms. Gucciarini could not be here tonight, but they are with us in spirit, and I want to say thank you to Mr. Garcia and Mr. Sorosi, who are also in the audience. A quick format about how the night will run today. So we're going to start with the overview from Schoolings, and we have our rep, Jonathan, who is going to talk to us about it. It's our new college and career exploration program, which will replace Naviance. So for anyone who has older children, that's the program that we use to do all of the college and career, the interest inventories, send out all your documents to college. So Schoolings will be taking over for that platform. And then once the presentation's over from Schoolings, we'll jump right back into our 9th and 10th grade parent night. So with that, I'm going to cut to Jonathan, who was on the screen in Chicago, and we will let you take it away.
Thanks so much, Sue. And thank you all so much for taking the time to learn a little bit about Schoolings. Really excited to chat with you guys about what Schoolings is. I've been working with Sue over the past couple of months to get the program ready for the district. Overall, we want to be an all-in-one college and career platform. So whether or not students want to go to college or want to enter the workforce or want to enter the military, we want to make sure that students have the right information, that they feel supported to make the right decision for them. So to start off, I want to talk a little bit about logging into Schoolings. What we are going to do is we are going to generate a claim code that is specific to your student that you will use to log into Schoolings. Now, when you go to our login page, there's going to be a separate link for you to click that says sign up as a guardian, and that's where you're going to input that claim code. The way that you can get the claim code is from your student. Right now, I'm in a demo account, and I'm going to demo as a student to show you guys where your student can find the claim code that you're going to use to log in. Let's say I attend Schoolings High School, a demo district. And it's going to ask me how I'm feeling. I'm going to skip that really quickly. And where I'm going to go is my account settings. Once I click on my account settings, I see a few things: account access, notifications, profile photo, guardians, and calendar subscription. I'm going to go to guardians, and then I can click view guardian instructions and unique claim code. I can give this to my parent or guardian, and then again, they can then use that on the login page to log into Schoolings. Once you guys are in Schoolings, you'll be able to see essentially everything that your student sees within the platform. You're able to see what colleges or careers your student has favorited, what goals they have set, what they got on specific assessments within our system. Let's talk a little bit about what that will actually look like, though, when your students are favoriting a specific college or looking into different careers. Right now, I'm viewing this demo account from the point of view of a student. When I first log in, I can see a couple of things. I can see my to-do list. These are to-dos that my guidance counselor has assigned me. I can see some overdue assignments and then assignments that are due within the next 4 weeks. Let's say I want to start exploring colleges. Well, to do that, I'm going to go to colleges on my left-hand side toolbar, and then I'm going to go to the school search section. Once I do that, I'm going to see a list of colleges pull up for me. By default, it's going to show me the state that I'm in and then public and private universities within that state. Now it's saying that I'm in Texas. I'm not actually in Texas. SchoolLinks is headquartered in Austin, so whenever I'm using this account, it says I'm in Texas. Let's just take Texas off for now, and I can take off that filter by clicking the little X next to the name. I can also change what I'm sorting by. Right now I'm sorting by graduation rate. But let's say I want to sort by acceptance rate or expected family contribution, distance from me, or maybe US News ranking. Let's see US News ranking. Well, Princeton's #1 in the US News ranking, so it shows up first. I can also apply other filters to narrow down the search. I can go to school type, and I can search for 4-year, 2-year, and non-degree programs, private, public, and for-profit universities. I can look at HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, universities that include gender inclusive housing, and universities that have an ROTC program. Let's say I want to go to a 4-year university. I can also narrow down my college search by what kind of campus I want to attend. Maybe I want my campus to be in the city. I can also put in my GPA and test scores, and then what my chances would be to really narrow down the search. Let's say I did really well in the ACT, I got a 31. Awesome. Now I'm seeing some more universities that might be a good fit for me. I can also put in sports. Maybe I did archery in high school and I want to continue doing club archery when I'm in college. Awesome. Now I'm filtering for colleges that fit all of these criteria, and I have 4 schools. Let's take a look at the University of Texas at Austin. When I click on that, I'm going to be able to see an overview of the university. What's the acceptance rate? What's the graduation rate? What's the campus setting like? I can view videos from current students. What's the food like? What's the campus like? I can also see the average monthly temperature. I went to school up in Boston. It would have been great to have known how cold it was going to be. I can also see walk scores. These are scores that show students how easy it is to get from point A to point B, either walking or using the transit system or biking. I can see information on the student body, academics and programs offered. I can see the athletics offered. And I can also see student life. What are the largest student organizations? Student resources. Is there Greek life? From this page, I can also put in the cost and financial aid by putting in my family's income. And then I can see how that changes the tuition calculation. I can see some more information on admissions data and application information. And then finally, I can see suggestions for other universities if I like this one. Let's say after looking at all this information, I really like this college. Well, I could favorite it by clicking on this heart in the top right corner of my screen. Once I do that, I'm going to see a pop-up on my screen. It's going to ask me why I favorited this school. Maybe it's a specific program. Maybe it's the finance program, for example. And then I'll save that. That note is now viewable by my counselor and guardian. The hope is that these notes are helping you guys talk about college with your students. So maybe if your student favorites a college, again, for the finance program, you can say, hey, if you like UT Austin for the program that they have for the finance department, maybe you'll like this other college for the same reason. One other thing I want to show you guys is that we also offer virtual reality tours to over 500 universities. This is through our partnership with UVisit, and you can filter for schools that we offer virtual reality tours for under this other column. So I'm going to filter for schools that we offer virtual reality tours for. And I'm going to take off the Texas filter again. So let's say I wanted to take a look at Tufts University, for example. Up at the top, I would see this virtual reality tour. It's going to take a little bit to load. My Wi-Fi is bad. I apologize. The reason why we offer these virtual reality tours is because we know that it can be really hard to physically go to every school that a student might want to visit, or that they are interested in applying to. So this virtual reality tour is meant to give students another way to still see themselves on that campus without actually having to physically travel there. The next part of the platform that I want to show you guys is our Career Center. I can navigate to the Career Center by clicking on Careers in the left-hand side toolbar and then Career Center. Once I'm here, I can see the most job openings for the state that I'm in. Again, I'm not actually in Texas, but because I'm in the Schooling STEM account and Schoolings is in Austin, it's going to say I'm in Texas. It's going to filter for me by education level, and I can toggle from bachelor's degree to associates to no degree needed and see how that changes the most job openings for the state that I'm in. I can also search for a specific career if I know exactly what I want to go into up at the top. But I can also search for an industry or career cluster if I don't really know specifically what I want to go into yet. I'll click on career clusters, and this is going to allow me to explore all the different industries. I can explore everything from agriculture to information technology to marketing to finance. We really have it all. Let's say I want to explore information technology careers. Awesome. Once I clicked on that, I'm going to see all of the careers within that career cluster, and it's going to be sorted by highest job growth rate for the state that I'm in. It looks like information security analysis has the highest job growth rate. We get all of these numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I can also filter by highest median salary. It looks like computer and information systems management has the highest salary here, or I can just sort by alphabetical. Let's say I want to learn about data science. Well, I'll click on data science. And at first, I'm going to see a general overview. It's going to tell me what's the median salary. What's the education needed for this job? And then it's also going to show me mentor videos. Mentor videos are videos of people who actually have this job, talking about what it's like to have the job and answering questions about it. I can also toggle to the day in the life video. This is a YouTube video that we've pulled that's meant to show people what is it actually like to have this job. I can look at education and training, and under education and training, it's going to tell me what are the majors that are a strong education path to pursue this career. I see computer science, computer and information sciences, artificial intelligence. Maybe I want to major in artificial intelligence. When I click on that, it's going to take me out of the Career Center, and it's going to bring me to the College Search Center, and it's going to show me universities near me that offer that as a major. Let's go back to the Career Center though. And let's say I want to revisit the career that I was just looking at. So I'm going to search for it up in the search bar. Data science. I can set this as one of my favorites. And now it's favorited. Similar to the college favorites, this is viewable by my counselor or guardian. And I can even set it as my career goal. Students have the opportunity to set career goals, college goals, post-secondary goals, and they're all going to live in their profile section, which I'll show you guys now. To get to my profile section, I'm going to click on my name and picture in the top right corner of my screen. Here, I can see all of my goals. I can put in things that I'm proud of, things that I feel are my strengths, my interests and hobbies, my job experience, what extracurriculars I'm involved in, what credentials I've earned, my awards and achievements, skills, any test scores I have. All of this information can then be boiled down into a resume using this export resume button. It's a little small, so I'm unsure if you guys are able to see. But when I click this export resume button, it's going to condense all the information that I've input into this profile section and create a formal resume that I could use to apply to a volunteering opportunity or to an internship near me, or even to colleges. One other thing that I want to show you is the actual application manager. So the application manager is what seniors are going to use to request documents from counselors and to track all of their applications. Right now, I'm switching the user that I'm demoing as because only seniors can access our application manager. It's going to ask me how I'm feeling again. I'm going to skip this really quickly. To access the application manager, I'm going to go to colleges and then college applications. Here, I can see the college applications that are incomplete, some that are completed and pending, and then I can see all of my results here on the right-hand side. Because I haven't been accepted anywhere, I don't see any colleges there. One thing to note here is that we sync with Common App, very similar to Naviance. So when students are adding colleges to their Common App accounts in the summer before school has started, once they start their senior year and they log into SchoolLinks, they can sync their Common App account, and all of those colleges and all that information that they've already put into Common App is going to sync over to SchoolLinks, and they'll be able to see it here. Let's say though a student is applying to a school that's not a Common App school. In order to do that, I can click this Add Application button, and I'm going to add the college. Let's say University of Texas at Austin. I'll select it and I'll say I'm in progress. And then it's going to ask me my application method. Maybe I'm using the Apply Texas network and I'm applying regular decision. I can then put in information about financial aid and whether or not I'm submitting my scores, such as ACT or SAT. Awesome. Once I'm here, I'm going to see 3 different categories. I can see my student checklist. These are things that I am responsible for. Once I check off all of the items here, and I'll show you guys this in a second, my application is going to move from the incomplete section to the completed section. This is meant to help students see, what do I still need to do? On the right-hand side, I'm going to see counselor documents. As soon as I add this school, or as soon as I added the school, it's already added, these documents are going to be requested from my counselor, and they're going to be able to see it in their SchoolLinks account. Finally, in the middle, I have my teacher recommendations. I can see any school-specific instructions and how many I need to request. It looks like there are 2 that are optional. I'll click Request Teacher Recommendation, and let's say I want to add Aaron Harper as one of my recommenders. I'll click Aaron Harper's name, click Next, and then it's going to ask me if I want to add a custom message to send to my teacher. Maybe I want them to write something specific about this application. I can add that here. I'm not going to add anything, and I'm just going to hit Submit Request. And then here we go. I can see Aaron Harper's name. Once they've submitted it, similar to the counselor documents, I can see when it's been uploaded, when it's been sent to the university, and then when it's been downloaded by the university. Let's go back. So I can see UT Austin is here in the incomplete section. If I go to this Edit Application and then check all of these boxes, I see that University of Texas at Austin has moved from incomplete to completed and pending. Again, the logic here is that we want to be able to communicate to students what they still need to do. The last part of the platform that I want to show you is the finances section. So the scholarship matching section has students put in information about their eligibility, their interests, and what colleges they're either actively applying to or thinking about applying to. What this is going to do is it's going to match them to the scholarships that we have in our database for the district and show them what they are eligible to apply for. The hope here is that students aren't having to, read through 100 scholarships only to find out that they're eligible for a handful of them. We will do that matching process for them. And then finally, if I go under college financing, I can see the estimated costs of all the universities I'm applying to. I can also filter for colleges that I've favorited if I've not yet started the college application process. So for ninth and 10th grade families, this tool might be really great to use using this favorited colleges filter to see, okay, given XYZ financial background, I'll be able to see a ballpark of what a student would pay attending the college for 4 years, or maybe there's a specific program that would take 5 years to complete. I can even change that tuition calculation to reflect the proper amount of years. I can also add scholarships and update my FAFSA status here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I know that was a lot of information. I really appreciate everybody's time to learn about schoolings. It was a very high level overview. I'm going to send Sue some information about getting the claim code and then using that claim code to log into schooling so that you guys have something to reference as you guys are logging in for the first time. Again, thank you all so much. Sue, are there any questions that I can answer?
Before we let him go, are there any questions, Mr. Murray? So the question was, all the information that you have in there about each college, where does the information come from and how often is it updated?
Really good question. So we update this information yearly. It can come from a variety of sources. Let me share my screen. If it's a Common App school, we'll typically get that information from the Common App. If it's not a Common App school, so let's take UT Austin, for example. While it is a Common App school, it's primarily used in the Apply Texas network, so we'll default to Apply Texas's information about the university. We also use the NCES database to update and include any information that might not be included by any of those application networks.
Okay, any other questions? A few more questions. Go ahead. Are there international schools outside of the US or is it only US based?
So in our college search center, we only have American schools, but when we are sending information to schools, we support sending information to schools across the globe.
Okay, so we would add that through Parchment?
Yep, and we could help you add any information for the sending process to Parchment. But yeah, we definitely support sending to schools across the globe.
Perfect, thank you. Ms. Cover?
So for the Common App schools, the results show on there. I know it says you have to add if it's a non-Common App school. Will the results automatically show on there as well for those non-Common App schools?
So for non-Common App schools, will the results show like they do on the Common App schools?
Really good question. For non-Common App schools,
I like that I phrased that.
students will go to the actual school and they'll need to click add result for that school. And sorry, they'll also need to do this for Common App schools.
say, I don't
The
think it
reason
automatically-
being,
I was about to say.
while we sync with Common App, we don't get that specific information about whether or not they were accepted or waitlisted or denied. They'll need to add that within the system. And counselors also have a screen where they can see, okay, this student has updated all of their colleges, or this student has not updated all of their colleges. Let's make sure that this student is, saying within the system whether or not they're accepted here and they're enrolling. So they will do that manually, but we have a strong accountability system to make sure that all students are adding their results.
Yep, and that's similar to how we do it with Naviance right now. So we do ask for updates from the kids, and we go in and manually update all that if they haven't. So that would be the same process. Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a question about this screen. So as the student checks off their parts being complete and agrees to complete in Texas, now when the guidance counselor and whoever the teachers put in their recommendations, is there any part of the screen that lets you know that their part is done? Or do you have to go back to the other part?
For whose part?
Where's the teacher and the guidance counselor information updated?
So the question was, once the student moves it over to completed on their part, then once the counselor and the teachers put all of their parts in, does it automatically switch to completed, or how would that work, and how would the kids see that?
Yeah, really good question. So a student can always look at um, what status their counselor documents are in or what status their teacher recommendation is in. It'll already be in completed and pending once they finish all of their student tasks. Again, the reason being, we want this to be a student-facing indicator. And if a student has done everything that they need to do, but say the counselor hasn't submitted a counselor rec or a transcript, we don't want students to worry that they still have something to do on their end. So we'll move it to completed and pending. On the counselor side, counselors will see that they still have something to do for the application. And students can always see that the counselor still needs to do something or submit a document, but it will be in the completed and pending section because the student has finished everything that they need to do.
Perfect. And then, so once the counselor then puts all of their information in and we submit all the documents, including the teacher recs, will that will move over to completed on the whole screen?
Yep, so students would be able to see in the specific college that this like teacher rec has been submitted or downloaded, or that the counselor has submitted the transcript. They'll be able to see that here.
Okay.
I have a question. Is there a way to see whether students were accepted or rejected or put on the hold, I guess, wait list?
Yes, so the question was actually about the scattergrams, and I think we should quickly, if we can, show them that, was about whether or not the kids were accepted or rejected.
But I wanted to know if it was possible to find out based on like direct admit programs, like specific programs, not just the school.
So no, we don't track stats based on which program it is. It's the general, because we're a really small school, so that would identify a student. So certain things we don't tell you the year that the student applied. We don't tell you the programs, unfortunately, that they applied from that status from us. And there might not be enough data to make it useful for you. If there's one kid that applied to a direct admit program from our school, depending on all the other factors, it wouldn't be helpful data. You have to have enough data points to make that worthwhile, and I don't know if we would have enough. It'd be a useful fact anyway. Yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for presenting to us. It was super helpful, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Of course. Thank you guys
Oh my
so
God,
much, and I
thank
hope you guys all have a great night.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.
All right, cool. We'll just give it a minute to switch over to our stuff. Okay, let me pull back onto this. Okay, and then just so you know too, and on the screen I do want to point out actually, there was something about a financial aid for a FAFSA tracker on there. I don't know if anyone's been hearing about this, that the government was trying to track FAFSA and make students apply for FAFSA. Right now in New York, that is not the case, and you don't have to do that as of now. But that's why that tracker was here. So for our New York students, that actually is not a requirement in order to complete an application. But that's why it's in there, because again, I guess they're based in Texas. In Texas, it does. A lot of the other states do require that. I want to say New Jersey, I think, requires it. That's why that was there. So for our students, don't worry about on that third one. On the bottom, it did say FAFSA. You don't have to worry about that part. For us, obviously, you should apply for FAFSA, but it's not a requirement in order to apply to that school. Okay. I do also want to say about the, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Really quick. I know there's that code for the parents to
Yes.
sign. Is it the same, account, like we share it with our child?
Yes. So I was just about to say that. So when you go in your account, so all of the children's accounts are live and active. So when students who are listening at home or in the audience, when you go onto your single sign-on, right, when you log onto your computer, you see your class link, you click on your class link, you will then see a green icon that says School Links. You click on that, it takes you in. You do not have to have a username, password. You are just automatically in just by logging onto your computer at Lynbrook, which is super awesome. No more forgotten passwords of Naviance. For the parents, Once your child logs in for that time, you can click the top, you will get that claim code, so you can claim that parent account and then create your own account. I also have a list of those codes, so if for some reason you're having a hard time finding it in your child's account, you can call me and I will be able to look up what your unique claim code is. So that you can do now, it is live, you can go home and play with it tonight, which is super exciting. Okay, single sign in. All right, perfect. Now, welcome back to our ninth, yeah. I'm gonna limit your questions, Meredith. I went to grad school with her, so I can be rude to her.
I'm sorry. Last thing, so if hypothetically, you already started putting stuff on Naviance, it does not transfer over.
No.
correct?
So for the people at home, because that's actually a very important question, and don't worry, you'll probably be sick of hearing from me from emails before June. If you put anything in Naviance, you have to print it or take it out of Naviance before June. As of June, we lose access to it, so anything that you have started, pull it out. If you filled out a parent rec or student rec, like if your counselor told you about a parent rec or student rec form, like the recommendation form for letters of recommendation, again, this is if any juniors are here, 9th and 10th graders will have no idea what I'm talking about, you can print them, or we can see them and we know to go in and we will print them because they come back to us. We will print that before June. But if you started a resume, yes, print it for your copies before then and put it in that. It's such a better print format. I promise you'll love it. It's so much better. It's so much prettier. Okay. So let's see. Okay, we did that. We welcomed everyone. That's our agenda. We talked about that. We talked about school links. Okay, so before I bring it to Mr. Rosenberg, I just wanted to say again that we are excited to have everybody here, and we're going to be discussing some super important stuff tonight. We're going to, over the next 3 or 4 years, we're working with your children. We are with you every step of the way. We stay with your children from 9th grade on, so you really get to know us throughout the process, we work with obviously the students and the families. We're going to go over tonight some things that you need to know, some tips and tricks to make this process, because before you know it, your children, even if you're a freshman, it sounds 4 years away, sounds so far away, but it's going to be here before you know it. So things that you can do now to set you up for success down the road so that it's not super overwhelming. Or we don't want you to get into 11th or 12th grade and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that if back in 9th grade when I didn't do this, then I didn't really set myself up for the best things possible. Mr. Spector is going to go into a little bit more of this stuff in a minute. But right now, certain things you can do is stay organized, get yourself a planner, challenge yourself in school, get the best grades you can, form relationships with your teachers and your counselors, find extracurricular activities that you're passionate about, and work your way up to leadership positions in those activities. And then take your schoolwork seriously, right? Attendance counts, grades count, everything really from any accelerated course in 8th grade on counts, so make sure you're paying attention to that, and then start researching some colleges now or post high school plans. There's a lot of good career opportunities, trade schools. We have a lot of kids going military. All of those options are open to you, and right now is the time to really be exploring and figuring out what you're passionate about and what you like. And good planning now is obviously crucial to your success. So I would like to bring up Mr. Rosenberg, who's going to talk to you about the role of a school counselor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Ms. Mueller stole a lot of my thunder with what she said, so I apologize. You're going to have to hear a lot of this twice. But before we get started, I just wanted to say something about the presentation that we just saw. I know that this is a 9th and 10th grade parent night, and I know that if I were a 9th or 10th grade parent, seeing this, it might provoke a lot of anxiety or fear of the unknown, a new program, how is this going to impact me, affect me moving forward. I just want to let you know that we are going to be working diligently to get you a lot of information over the course of this year, into next year, and the coming years, and break it down piece by piece, just like we do with Naviance, and we have done with Naviance over the last couple of years, to go into the classrooms and do great applicable activities with the students, and make sure that they're prepared and you're prepared for what lies ahead. When you get to these screens, it won't be as overwhelming as it might have been tonight. So I did just want to let you know that we will be working around the clock with our students and our families to make sure that they have all the information that they need to make this just as easy and as second nature as Naviance has for anyone that's been through that program in the past. So I'm going to talk about the role of the school counselor. This is why we're here. It is definitely our most important job description. It is my favorite part of the job, and that's working with students. We are here to be your liaisons to the school. Any questions, any concerns, anything that comes up from summer going into ninth grade and any time navigating your 4 years of high school, we are here to help you along that journey. Just a show of hands for the people in the room, how many of you are going through this for the first time with the 9th or 10th grade? Okay, so a lot of you, and that's great. And really, the best thing that I can tell you is if there are any questions from the parent, any questions from the student, we want you to come down to us. We have an open door policy. For the parents, we're a phone call or an email away, and we like working together with you because the more we work together with you now, we are a team, right? And that team needs to continue to work together and navigate the 4 years of high school, so when you're getting ready to graduate and move on to whatever the next step might be, we have all the information necessary, and we all have been working so closely over the 4 years here that we're all on the same page for what the next steps are and how we can best achieve your goal, the student's goal, and help you get what you're looking for out of that next step. So social, emotional, academic, we meet with students many times a year. There are times that we will definitely meet with the students when we go over their schedules for next year. Over the summer, we meet with our incoming 9th grade students for our orientation. We meet with them at the beginning of every year and check in periodically throughout the year, report cards, attendance, any concerns that we might have, any great things going on that we might have. We will call you down and we will continue to work with our students for a number of different avenues, college and career planning preparation. Everything that we do builds year for year, and it all leads to what you're looking for and help, again, class selection, what you might want to take if you're looking for certain fields, opportunities that are available to you. If you're having trouble academically, where you can find extra help, a National Honor Society tutor, get any additional support, study skills, techniques that you might need. Also, if there's additional help that you might need, we work very closely with our psychologists and social workers here in the building to help make sure that anything that you're going through, we're there to help you and alleviate any stress along the way. So really, we're here to get to know the students, to work with them, to continue to help them reach their true potential. Just a couple tips for the students and then for the parents. So for the students, get to know your teachers and get to know your counselor. If you have any questions, maybe at first or maybe throughout the year, if you're thinking about sending that email because it might be easier or you're home, take that extra step. Come down to the office, make an appointment with us. Ask the teacher if they have 5 minutes to talk at the end of class, or approach them during their extra help if you're having difficulty or you didn't understand something. Maybe you don't feel comfortable asking that question in front of the entire group, but you really wanted to talk to that teacher. Maybe they have a couple minutes before or after. Maybe there's a free period or a time that they can make to go over that question for you. But really, it's important to get to form those relationships with the teachers and to form those relationships with the counselor. Stay organized, manage your time. Ms. Moeller talked about the use of a planner, whether you use your tablet for that, whether you have your own planner. Really take advantage of that. There are daily assignments in a lot of classes, but this will help keep you on track, and you'll be able to build those skills necessary to go home, see what you have on a daily basis, and be able to make sure that you're hitting all of your deadlines when you have them. One of the biggest things that I want our students to know is the importance of getting involved. We have a lot of students that come into the school building and they have a difficult transition because it's a very different place, it's bigger, the academics are at a different level, and they want to focus their time towards getting, making sure that they hit the ground running academically. But getting involved in clubs, sports, extracurricular activities, it really is very important. We want the students to have healthy outlets. We want them to be able to meet peers that have similar interests as them. So it's really important, and we encourage them. And that's not to say that we want you to join 10 a year, but pick 1 or 2 that you're interested in. And at the end of the year, if you don't love it, you know what? You gave it a shot, and then the next year you pick something else. And the hope is that you find something that you love, and you can grow with that and make that something meaningful to you. And ask for help when needed. Remember that you're not in this alone. There's a lot of stressors that students go through on a daily basis. I know firsthand. I have a senior in high school and one in college, and I understand what the students are going through on a daily basis, and it can be a lot. But again, you're not in this alone. Continue to reach out, ask for help when needed. And for parents, get involved. Attend back-to-school nights, parent-teacher conferences. We have the counselor back-to-school night that we did this year. It was just for parents to make an appointment with support staff and to talk about any concerns. We'll let you know if we're doing that again as we move forward. But take advantage of coming into the building, meeting us, talking to us, a phone call or email. Again, communicate with your child's teacher if there's something that you're not sure about or something that you feel your student is having difficulty with and they tried to work it out. The best place to go for an academic need is the teacher. They're the ones that are in the classroom with your children on a daily basis. So they're the ones that can maybe help you get over that hump and get over that difficulty that you might be having. Check Power School. Check it. Don't become obsessed with checking Power School, but use it as a tool, use it as a resource. You can see what your son or daughter is doing on a day-to-day basis, how they're doing with attendance, how they're doing with their classes and their grades. Know what resources are available. Again, extra help. We have peer tutors through the school that are students in the National Honor Society. And again, encourage your children to find that passion, to get involved, and to really try and help them become who it is that they're looking to become, because they will need help. And again, it's on all of us to make that team work and to achieve the same goal for the students. Again, communication is key. So just to recap kind of what we talked about, communication with the counselor, look at the portal. We send out 4 report cards yearly, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So those will be the 4 times that there will be report cards sent out to you or updated on the portal. Parent-teacher conferences, the weekly update from Mr. Sorosi, that is a great snapshot of what's going on in the building, what's coming up. So please pay attention to that. We send it out. Mr. Sorosi posted on his Instagram account, so follow that if you haven't already. You'll get to see my college trips and my tours that we're doing, and we post things that are going on in the guidance department. The school website has a lot of great information on it right now. And again, School Links, you will hear more information from the department as we move forward. And I am going to introduce Mr. Caramore, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenberg. All righty, so what I'm going to go over is on page 4. It's a little technical. We are super excited to have you here, and for the folks that are at home, the School Links program, being the senior member of the guidance department, I don't really like a lot of change, but what School Links is showing us so far is amazing. We actually have a training tomorrow morning again to learn more and more, and we are really looking forward to going into the classrooms for the freshmen, for the sophomores, and also the juniors to introduce this program to them so they are comfortable using this program. So then when the parents are sitting with them, everybody seems to be comfortable. Again, like Mr. Rosenberg said, we do have an open door policy. Students will come down to us for a variety of things. A lot of the times it was for Naviance passwords. But again, as we're learning the program, we want to be able to share that information with you guys and also with the students. One of the most important roles, and again, Mr. Rosenberg went over this, of the school counselor is to make sure that our students are on track to graduate with a New York State high school diploma. In order for that to happen, again, every time that we meet with students, if they want to drop a class, if they want to add a class, or we're sitting with them to pick their courses, we have what we call our 4-year planning sheet, where we are looking at, again, their courses to make sure that they are taking classes that they need to graduate. New York State has standards that are set up, and again, on page 4, you can kind of see what our transcript looks like, but you can first kind of look at what the graduation requirements are. Again, this is a little bit on the technical side. A minimum of 22 credits over 4 years, that's averaging 5.5. I would say most of our students, they come into 9th grade with 2, 3, sometimes even 4 credits. They generally take in their freshman year 7.25 credits. Their sophomore year, they're taking 7.5 credits. A lot of them continue at 7.5 and junior year, some drop down a little bit, but in the end, our students are graduating with 28, 29, 30, 31, even 32 credits. So that minimum number is just that, it's a minimum, but for our students, the fact that we run a 10-period day, for our students, they have tremendous opportunities for electives. The 22 credits is actually pretty easy to get to, but again, we want to make sure that students are getting their 4 credits in English, which is an English class each year. Same thing with social studies. Math, science, yes, it says that there's a 3-credit requirement, which is really 3 years. Most of our students are taking math in their senior year, or if they come in with a math credit into high school, they're taking that extra credit of math in junior year, another credit of math in their senior year. Again, from the college side, we have a tremendous number of students of ours who go off to college, so we're always keeping in the back of our minds what a college is going to want to see, and that is going to be to have, again, English, social studies, math, and science minimum in their junior year through their senior year. World languages is something else that's really important from the college side. So New York State says that students only need to take 1 credit of foreign language. We normally don't broadcast that out to everybody. We want students to continue with those world languages. So that's why when students, again, get that first credit in middle school, they are strongly encouraged to take level 2 in 9th grade, level 3 in 10th grade. Some of our students stick with the honors, leading to the AP. We do have some other electives for students within languages that they can also take. Art or music, again, New York State says you only need to take 1 credit. We, again, advise our students that they should really strongly consider the arts, whether, again, it's music or it's fine and performing arts, something, along the lines with these electives, just to kind of round out what the academics are. Community service. Community service is a Lynbrook High School graduation requirement. We've kind of changed it up a little bit. Students need to complete 15 hours by the time they're ready to graduate. Regents exams. This is where things get a little confusing, but the basics are that students need to pass 5 Regents exams in order to have what we call the Regents Diploma. 1 in ELA, which is English Language Arts, 1 in math, 1 in social studies, 1 in science, and then 1 additional what they call pathways that a student would need. For most students, again, at Lynbrook High School, they are going for the Advanced Regents Diploma. That just means they need 2 more math regents, so it would be Algebra, Geometry, and Algebra 2. They need 2 science regents. They need what they call the FLAX B, so that's where the world languages is important, that the students stay with language at least through the end of the 3R. Again, a lot of this information is in our curriculum guide. The information is available online. When we kind of look at the sample transcript, so that's again in the middle of page 4, slide number 11, you can see what a pretty basic Lynbrook High School student transcript is going to look like. Thank you. So for this student here, again, we can kind of see along the bottom where it says New York Regents examinations. As students are completing their Regents exams, they do get placed there on the transcript. You can see right above there, it has the students from Lynbrook South Middle School, so either south or north. If the students completed credits there, again, we'd be able to put them in there as long as they're going towards high school credit. And then you can see how it works for 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and then ultimately what the senior year looks like. What's missing from here, there is a line that would be right above where the New York Regents exams are, that we have the amount of community service hours that the student has completed so far. We've heard over the years one of the big limitations of PowerSchool is that it doesn't let you see a transcript. At any time, if you want, you can contact the guidance office. We can send you an unofficial copy of your transcript when you're finishing up 9th grade, when you're finishing up 10th grade. We could send it to you as a PDF. Sometimes students need that if they're going to be recruited for something. So at any time, if you want to see a copy of your transcript, you just reach out and we'll be able to send that to you. Any questions on transcripts, graduation requirements? It's a little dry, I know, sorry. So classes and grades. Some things to remember, and then I know this was mentioned briefly before. For students, classroom performance, behavior, and attendance. As a freshman, are strong indicators of a student's future academic pathway. And remember, you will have to ask a teacher or two or three for letters of recommendation. So it all kind of goes together when we talk about classroom behavior, attendance, and that performance. A lot of times it's really about effort. We hear this a lot. 11th grade is the most important year. Technically, when we're talking about transcripts and grade point averages, freshman year counts as much as sophomore year as does junior year. So it is important to remember that each year, grades are important. I know it was mentioned also before about students should be challenging themselves. AP college level, I'm going to jump into a little bit more about the college level in a second. You know, for students, do challenge yourself. Now, we have some students that shy away from wanting to challenge themselves, and from the college side, they can kind of tell that. If a student is scoring high 90s in most of their Regents level classes, they're going to question, why didn't the student try to challenge themselves? One of the things that we do on our side when it comes to college forms, we have to, well, actually we're asked by the colleges to rate that student's course selection against their peers. So we want to be able to say that the student is challenging themselves with the most curriculum that we have, with the highest curriculum that we have to offer. And again, make sure to choose courses that are appropriate level for you. Again, we get that question a lot. What is better, to have, you know, be in an honors class with an 83 or an 84 or an 85, or be in a Regents class and have a 92 or a 93? So again, those are the things that will kind of help you out with. One of the other important things, if you're interested in playing sports, either D1 or D2, with the NCAA, all that information is available. You know, through the NCAA clearinghouse, you can actually pull up a list of all of our courses that we offer here at Lynbrook, and if they count towards that NCAA. Just a little reminder with that, with students, parents, if your child is thinking about that, make sure you reach out to his or her counselor to let them know this is something that you're thinking about. So again, when we're looking at that 4-year planner, we could always make sure that the students are selecting courses that are going to keep them on track with the NCAA clearinghouse. Dual enrollment college classes. As a parent of a child in college right now, this was huge when we were picking classes from 9th grade into 10th grade in her high school. Same thing going into junior year and senior year. At Lynbrook High School, we currently offer 22 different courses for what they call dual enrollment. So dual enrollment means that they're getting high school credit at the same time that they could be getting college credit. Through Molloy University, we have 11 courses. For our courses, for a 3-credit course at Molloy, so for Lynbrook side, it would be $300. I was looking up what the tuition is. To take that same class at Molloy was $3,780. That savings is tremendous. So that's one of the things, again, when we're meeting with students to pick courses, we are constantly recommending these college credits. There's a majority of the universities are going to accept those credits. So again, as students in 9th and 10th grade are picking courses, we send home the course selection sheet. In front of any of the college courses or any of the courses that we have that are college credit, the word college is put right in front of that. So again, it's a really good idea to select those courses. I mean, I was looking at SUNY Farmingdale, those courses per credit's $295. Again, so a 3-credit course is going to cost you, almost $900. So it is a tremendous, tremendous savings. Any questions on, yes?
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
For the classes that give you college credit, how do you counsel your students? Because there's 2 schools of thought. It's either AP classes that then kind of get you the more competitive colleges versus starting college with 12 credits of college credit. So what are your recommendations for that?
There's very few classes that we have that are either AP or college credit. I think psychology is really the only one where you kind of have a choice, and now pre-calc and pre-calc.
You said no more questions. Yes, so, I mean, if you want to answer that too, and it goes, it's a tricky thing, right? Because you enhance, I don't know if the people at home can hear me, You enhance the transcript, right, and the GPA with the 10% weighting if you're in the AP, so that helps you more in high school and applying to college. You're much more guaranteed to get the credit to transfer to college if you do the dual enroll, because you only need a 75 or better, right, a C or better, which then transfers. So it really depends on the schools you might look at, and again, there's not that many, as Mr. Caramore said, it's psychology, you can do either or, and then the 2 maths. So that's really, those are the only 2, but if you're looking at super, super competitive colleges, really the AP would weigh more on your transcript, but we do give the 5% now for the weighting for the college dual enrolled, which we didn't used to. We fought for that because they were taking college level classes, but they weren't getting any bump in their GPA, now they are. So there's really only a 5% difference from that. Mr. Rosenberg, you guys want to chime in? Can you stand here? No one will hear you, sorry. He's walking to the mic. Like people at home can't see, that's when they can't see us.
I think it's also a case-by-case basis, and that's when we have those individual planning meetings. It's really important to talk about that, because each student is different. Each student has a different track, so it's very easy to say, if you're looking for this path, you should be in all APs, or if you're looking for this, you shouldn't, but it has to take everything into consideration, right? What the colleges are looking for, and we see this all the time in admissions, is they're looking to see that the students are challenging themselves in the most demanding course load that they can handle. That's what they're looking for. So we don't want them to feel that they're overwhelmed. That's not what we want. We don't want students up till 2 or 3 o'clock every morning crying that they can't do it, because we want them to have that balance. That goes a long way. And we see it all the time, that we have students that take a mixture of AP, Regents level, and college level classes that are getting into amazing colleges. So it's really, when we talk about with those students individually and we gear them towards what they're looking for, that's when we can really help go over the options and make a plan that's right for them.
And then this is more opinion, sorry. Do you guide your students to do the 83, 85 grade in an AP class, or the 90, 95 in a Regents level class?
Depends on the kid. Depends on the kid.
Yeah.
And I know it's individual, but, you know.
85 is master, 83 I would say out.
Yeah.
Their stress and anxiety levels. And we get a lot of feedback from teachers. You know, it's a team approach. Student, parent, teacher, counselor, team approach.
I think
Yeah.
that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No. And so an 85 is generally the rule. So you said 83 or 85. So my answer would be different if it was an 83 or an 85, right? 85 is mastery per New York State. If you're getting the 85, you are appropriately placed. I'm going to say stay where you are. That 83 teeters on where you might be doing yourself better by being in an 85. Use that as the baseline.
Any more questions?
She's done.
All right. I'd like to introduce Ms. Smar, who's going to talk about standardized testing. Everyone's favorite, I know.
I know standardized testing is like the questionable subject for everyone, so sorry to be the bearer of this stuff. Oops, I'm going the wrong way, sorry. All right, so Mr. Caramore already touched base about Regents exams. So we are a public high school. We have to take Regents exams. It's just state protocol. It's part of the curriculum to get a diploma issued by New York State. So Mr. Caramore did highlight about the difference between your Regents diploma and your advanced designation Regents diploma in terms of the number of exams that students need. Most students at Lynbrook High School have been exposed to a Regents exam before entering the high school, because we have the 8th grade students, the majority of them, take high school math and high school science before actually entering our building here. But most students are going to be sitting for at least 5 exams before they technically graduate New York State or our high school with some type of diploma, and many more will sit for several more. 8 if they're going for a higher level diploma, unless we're looking at alternate pathways. Some will actually sit for more than that, depending upon the curriculum that they choose. Passing score is considered a 65 unless you are classified under special education. There are special accommodations set for that with the state, but a 65 or higher would get them the credit for the state in passing the exam. For the past number of years, there's been some COVID, protocol that was in place, so upperclassmen may have had some special appeals noted or even some exemptions, but unfortunately, current students now are all privied to the wonderful world of Regents exams with New York State. So that is really the first exposure that all students have to some type of standardized testing. The next test that students could potentially opt to take are AP exams. Students at Lynbrook High School can start taking AP curriculum as early as 10th grade, so in their sophomore year, they could be taking their first advanced placement class, which if you're taking an AP class, you are expected to take the AP exam at the end of it. That's what will give you the designation of the AP notation, and therefore give a student the appropriate weighting connected to their overall average in the class for the year. AP exams are not a Lynbrook High School exam. They are created by the College Board. We just issue their exams. The teachers here do become AP instructors through the College Board. They follow the College Board's curriculum for the content of their classes and therefore prepping towards the appropriate exam. Most of these exams are now electronic, digital-based, so students will be taking them on their tablets. We did roll out the first digital exam last year, and we're expected to roll out a lot more of them in that direction this year. In fact, I believe it's all digital this year. Exam scores for an AP exam, they are scored on a range between 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. So ideally, students do want to get as close to 5 as possible. When they are looking to communicate these exam scores to colleges or universities that they ultimately may apply to, most colleges or universities want to see that students get a score of at least a 3. Colleges say that equates to like a C in the class if the score is a 3 on the AP exam. So 4 or 5, you have your B and your A. Your most competitive colleges and universities, things like your Ivy League schools, may not even look to have your AP scores transferred. But later on, if you did actually get enrolled at that college or university, the AP exams can play a role for later on curriculum and helping them accelerate in classes there. So again, it is a standardized test. All the AP exams have different time links connected to them depending upon the content of the class. They are appropriately prepared for them by their teacher, who is trained by the College Board on the content of the exams, and they are well prepared for them before the point of the exam. They are the first 2 weeks in May every year. A schedule is posted out. Ms. Moeller is the AP coordinator, so if your child is in an AP course, you will have lots of communication from Ms. Moeller. There is a cost associated to the exams. This year's exams were $98 for each individual exam, so that is something to keep in mind, because if you have a child who is taking 5 AP courses, you are looking at a fee for each exam that they're taking. So it can add up relatively quickly, and not that I want to deter somebody from challenging themselves appropriately for cost of tests, but it is something to keep in context, especially in this world of inflation, and we all know what Doritos and things and eggs, cost at the supermarket right now. So balance is key with that. The next test that students can take is the PSAT exam. So the practice SAT exam. Students can take that as early as 10th grade, sophomores, but it's more appropriate for them to be taking it in 11th grade. The PSAT is designed to expose students to the content of what an actual SAT exam will be like. It's just a little less questions and the scoring is slightly different. It's a digital exam. It transitioned to a digital exam this school year, and we administered the first one in October here at the high school with pretty good success. There were very minor issues that happened with the digital administration. But students will get their scores typically in December. It's right around winter recess that the scores become available. They are notified via email from the College Board that their scores are accessible. They then log into their College Board account to see them, and they can actually link them into test prep work that College Board has on their college, testing administration website. So they can actually link it to something called the Khan Academy and start prep work in preparation for the actual SAT exam. Students who choose to take the PSAT exam in 11th grade are the only students that could be considered for the national merit competition. So you have to be an 11th grade student who scores very high on the PSAT to be in consideration to earn a national merit scholarship. That is offered through the College Board's PSAT exams, and it's specific for New York State, and it will be pulled up against all the students who take the PSAT that year, and then they'll analyze the highest scores and offer out the potential to get national merit consideration in all different levels. Some colleges and universities will actually offer some merit-based scholarship or incentive scholarship to have a student study there. They offer some money to discount the tuition, based upon their performance on the PSAT exam. The national merit exam as a whole national merit consideration with the PSAT exam can actually bring a student a potential of a full academic scholarship, at a particular institution that participates with the College Board and this program. So it is a nice incentive if a student is willing to sit and take the PSAT. It does provide them the practice experience for that standardized test. SATs and ACTs, which I'll talk about in a minute, are really kind of your benchmark exam for college admittance. Not every college or university requires the exams anymore. There has always been score optional schools. Since COVID, we have even more schools that are score optional. But since we're kind of mainstreaming back into normal society, since the height of COVID, we are seeing some colleges and universities put these exams back into play for consideration of admission or highly selective programs. An SAT or an ACT, which again I'll talk about, but the PSAT is normalized too, are consistent. If someone takes a PSAT here and they take it in Montana, or they take it in Sachem, or they take it in Hewlett, they're all taking the same exam. The content of our curriculum in high schools are different. So we may offer, I forget how many AP courses we have, let's say it's 25, please don't quote me on that, but like however many AP exams we have may be different than Hewlett or Montana or Sachem. So these exams are the way that they normalize the playing field to kind of level it for all if they do require it in their process of review for admissions. PSAT, though, is a practice test. This score, whether or not you take it in 10th grade or 11th grade, is never sent to a college or university. It is only used in consideration through the College Board in 11th grade for any of their national merit-based competitions. I hope that makes sense. The actual SAT exam became a digital exam just this past month in March. It's now only a digital exam. The test is now a little bit shorter than it previously was, so it's 3 hours of testing time. Students do take it on their school-based tablet, no matter where they take the exam. So no matter what, they should show up with a charged tablet and a charging cord just in case there's an issue. The digital test now allows them to actually access a calculator through the application that they download. It's called Blue Book. So they can actually use a calculator directly on Blue Book. They don't even have to worry about bringing their TI, whatever, in with them. The test is now a progressive test. So it's 2 different modules. It tests them in evidence-based reading and writing. That will test them in reading comprehension and some grammar-based skills. And then they will be tested in mathematics. The math sections do test them through advanced level algebra or algebra 2 and trig. It's designed to test a student through 11th grade curriculum. So if they are taking it in 10th grade and they're not in advanced curriculum, you should expect their scores to be a little bit lower because they haven't been exposed to as much of the math content as they're being tested on, in 10th grade. That would be like on your PSAT, and we do have some students who will look to take an actual SAT early, even as early as sophomore year, which we do not recommend. So the SAT exam now is a progressive test. So as you begin the modules, there's 2 modules for each sections. As they take the first module, depending upon how they scored on that test or how they were performing with their answers, the second module will actually adjust to give them harder questions if they were answering really well, on the first module, or it will make it a little bit easier for them if they weren't answering as well. I don't know how they normalize that. That's College Board's thing to figure out, but they have normalized it, figured it in there. And students who have taken it did say it wasn't so bad. The reading sections are a lot shorter than it was before in a written test. So their reading sections are between 2 and 3 paragraphs, and then they're answering questions. And math was really no different than what they had seen before. It's just now done on the computer instead of on paper. Students are given scrap paper, though, so it's not like they are not allowed to figure out work on paper. They are provided with scrap paper when they come in for the digital exam, and then that scrap paper is collected at the end of the exam as well. Scoring of an SAT exam is between a 400 and a 1600 overall. Your average scores on an SAT exam is about a 1050 to 1100. Your more elite scores are considered about a 1200, and your super elite scores are between a 1300 and above. So our most competitive students are usually scoring somewhere between a 1300 and potentially that 1600. Our valedictorians and salutatorians are usually in that 1400 plus. Hope that makes sense. You can take an SAT exam multiple times, and scores, when you choose to release them to a college or university, is up to the student and the family to release directly to colleges. They do not take Lynbrook High School's record of the scores. It's not considered official, so it's an official score report that gets sent through the testing agency, which is the College Board. Moving to the ACT exam. ACT exam, or American College Test, is similar but different than the SAT exam. They offer both options of a digital exam and a paper exam, so a student can choose whatever they're more comfortable with. The ACT exam does still test students on curriculum they're expected to know through junior year. It has 4 sections of the test, so there's a reading section, there's an English section, there's a math section, and then there's a science section. So that's the biggest difference, is the science section. Science will test students through chemistry concepts. It's a lot of graph analysis that students do. The math does test them through that Algebra 2 advanced level trigonometry. The reading section is like reading comprehension, and the English section is where they're assessed on their grammar skills. They do have an optional writing test that students can take. I really don't think many students have taken that in years, though. The colleges kind of have eliminated that in the process. Scoring for an ACT is very different than the SAT exam. They get a score somewhere between an 11 to a 36, 11 the low, 36 the high. They will get an individual score between 11 to 36 for each of the 4 sections, and then it's averaged together for a full-scale composite. So your average scores on an ACT are considered between a 21 to 23. Your more competitive scores are between a 26 and above. Your most elite are around a 30 and above. Our valedictorians and salutatorians, if they took the ACT, are usually getting somewhere between a 32 to 36 on individual areas, and usually full-scale composite to somewhere around a 34 to 36. Again, their scores have to be officially released through the ACT site, so it's actstudent.org. We do offer this exam typically once a year. It's usually in April in administration here, and then, like I said, with the ACT, students can take it still currently in paper if they prefer a paper exam, or digitally if they are comfortable with the digital version of the exam. ACTs used to be more popular in the West Coast. I think they grew in population here on the East Coast. If your parents in the room, you maybe didn't know as much about the ACT, but they grew in population here. I think when SAT had revamped their tests multiple times in the past, it used to have writing and all these other things that came in, and when they revamped it, students did kind of flock towards the ACT. So most colleges and universities, if they're requiring the need for test scores to be submitted, they should actually report to you both their averages on the ACT and the SAT. And if they don't report their averages, say for an ACT, and you took the ACT, they will always accept your ACT over an SAT. They will look at conversion scores with that. There is no right or wrong answer to what exam a student should take. It's really what they're most comfortable with. Some students are more comfortable with one version of the exam, like an ACT over the SAT, or vice versa. And I think all of us kind of recommend that students create accounts with both testing agencies. Once you do, you can access prep work, and therefore take practice exams and see where you're scoring better, and therefore decide if you want to take a test, and if so, what test. And again, you can take the ACT multiple times if you need to. And I will reiterate once again that there are colleges and universities out there that don't require any tests at all. There have always been score optional schools. We even have some local ones here that are score optional. We have just started to see them come back into play since COVID is starting to become a little bit more manageable for society at large. And some of the more competitive colleges and universities are requiring them, for admissions now. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Spector. He's going to talk to you about student involvement and really making yourself shine in the building as a whole. Yep. Typically, students will begin testing typically in spring of junior year. So sometimes students will start early. They may look at October. Really, it's most appropriate for a more competitive student in higher curriculum to look at March, for most students to look at May or June. And then they do have testing windows again as early as August, September, October, November, and December in senior year, depending upon deadlines that they were looking at for schools. Oh, for test center for SATs, we are June as well as October. And again, it's a digital exam. for ACT. We're a testing center for, not this year, but next year we may be for. Okay. This year, they told us they didn't need us. We've overpopulated in the area for ACT providers, but normally we would opt to be in April administration if they allow us to be. But junior year is typically when they start, spring of junior year. Any other questions about testing? I will turn it over to Mr. Spector.
Good evening. I'm going to talk a little bit about student involvement and don't want to overwhelm you in any way. So I'm just going to start from the beginning and say we offer a lot of different activities at Limerick High School. You know, some of the kids at Limerick, you know, you guys are so involved. We wonder, like, where and when you have time to sleep, seriously. But really, the formula, and the counselors I know agree, the schools, you know, post-secondary plans, they do not want to see a laundry list of different activities, okay? There's a term now, serial joiner. That's a student that's involved in several different activities with very little impact. The only thing you want to do is 9th and 10th grade parents, have your kid one club or activity. That's it. One club or activity starting in 9th grade where you have substantial impact over 3 years. That's the formula. It's passion fit. You don't need to be involved in a million different activities, okay? That's a myth. Just one or two activities, because over time, as you'll see, that's going to lead to leadership and impact in around the community, okay? So as you can see, at Limerick, we offer a variety of sports, school clubs, music, drama, community, volunteer work. I mean, whatever your passion is, run with it. Just start at an earlier age, and then over time, hopefully that will build and grow, and maybe you'll learn some leadership along the way, right? You be a team player, you get involved. The summer after 10th grade is a great opportunity for students to explore interests and build on their resume. You're gonna gain new skills, leadership, dedication, responsibility. A part-time job. We see a lot of kids who work in the community, that's huge. That's what, you know, post-secondary, college, wherever you go, jobs, that's what they, you know, careers, that's what they're looking at to see if you have maybe a part-time job, because through that, you're gonna learn about responsibility, time management, commitment, dedication. We also have a ton of summer jobs, internships, volunteer work, enrichment programs that are also available. A summer job could be just as rewarding or important as volunteering or taking an enrichment course. The high school guidance website has pre-college research and summer programs for you to browse. You should also be getting emails from our guidance department. BOCES also has great programs offered over the summer through Hofstra. I know I've sent some emails out earlier this year. If you didn't get an email from me, just send me an email and I'll add you to the listserv so that way you can get more information. We have a list of extracurricular activities that can be found on our website. Through extracurricular activities, your child can discover new possibilities or interests. They can complete the community service graduation requirements. And the more community service they do, and we'll talk a bit about this later on in high school, your child could be eligible for more scholarships through community service. Maybe they're an Eagle Scout. Maybe they'll volunteer at a church outside of school. The more your child is involved, keeps them busy, keeps them out of trouble, but they could be eligible for scholarships as well. Work experience, athletics, music and the arts, demonstrate an area of talent or passion, commitment, show initiative and leadership. And starting now, your child could go online, and I'm sure a lot of your parents and students have started to update their resume, which you're gonna do on the school links, which is great. And again, a list is on our website of all extracurricular activities. Benefits of getting involved, kind of what I talked about, can inspire a lifelong passion. Camp Anchor just reached out earlier this year. They were looking for volunteers, kids who volunteer with kids with disabilities down in Lido Beach. I know adults my age and older who are still doing Camp Anchor or something around Camp Anchor working with kids. That all starts in 9th grade. Maybe it starts younger. You just run with that your whole life, and then before you know it, you're a teacher or working as speech pathologist or, something with kids in general. That's what it's all about. It's just really finding that passion fit. It could become a stepping stone to a future career, interest, or college major. Getting involved relieves stress and academic pressures. It's a healthy outlet. It's going to teach you about teamwork, cooperation, problem solving, communication, decision making, leadership, any desired skills for employers. You're going to have the ability to make connections, friends, memories. You can improve post-secondary options. And like I said, employers or colleges like to see applicants who demonstrate dedication and involvement in the school community, outside communities. And if you need help getting your kid involved, you can reach out to your counselor, and we will sit down with your child. And team approach, good cop, bad cop, we'll negotiate, we'll work together to try and get your kid involved. Here's a list of Limerick High School Honor Societies. It's updated on our website. We have Business and Marketing Honor Society, National Honor Society, National Art Honor Society, Science, Math Honor Society, Tri-Am Music. And like I said, all the requirements can be found on our website. Thank you. Next, I'll bring up Ms. Moeller for final thoughts and questions.
Okay, so I know that was a lot of information. We try to shove in everything you need to know basically from ninth grade on, so it probably feels a little bit overwhelming, especially for those of you who are going through this for the first time. But, again, the key right now is to be involved, to keep your grades up, to really take advantage of all of the opportunities that Lynbrook High School has to offer for you. Take advantage of summer opportunities and set yourself up for things that later in life will find passion and things that you want to do. I do want to just go over the second packet that you guys have. So hopefully everyone had a packet of the PowerPoint and then a second packet that said school links on the front. We had 73 people watching online right now. So for anyone at home watching, we do have copies in the office. You can just have your child come pick it up tomorrow. So the first one was, again, the information about how to log on to school links for the first time, front and back for parents and students. The second page is New York State graduation requirements. This is one of the slides that was in here. We took out the main pieces of this because this can get very overwhelming, but this is the document that the state puts out. So if you really wanted to know all you ever needed to know about graduation requirements, it is on that document and all the different pathways. And then I almost felt bad giving this to you guys, and I tried to take out half of the stuff, but really everything on here is important to each year. So this super overwhelming calendar list of what you should be doing in each grade, and obviously it's not an all-inclusive list, but I didn't want it to be 45 pages long. So we did, it's just stuff to kind of keep in mind as you're traveling down this road from high school, that you're saying, okay, what are the things that I can be thinking about now for ninth grade, and what are the things that I can be putting off? Really using school links, again, and this was something that we did in Naviance, but the reason we go into the ninth grade classrooms to show school links is to start putting resume entries or activity list entries into into the online portal, because then once you become a senior and you're applying to colleges, or you want to apply for your silver cord, right, which is 200 hours of community service, it will all be in there. So you're not thinking back to say, okay, what did I do this summer of 8th grade going into 9th, right? Because that counts for high school credit. So start putting in the stuff now, which is why we're really talking to you in 9th and 10th grade about making your resume for senior year, which sounds a little weird, but it's really hard to remember. Like, I can't remember what I did last week, let alone 4 years ago. So start putting in the stuff now, because then once it becomes senior year, all you have to do is hit print. It is right there for you, and it's good to go. So that's really why some of this stuff is saying kind of do now, and each year we're kind of updating and saying do that again, do that again, do that again. Every time if it becomes a habit, and I think Mr. Caramore talked about this, that he did this with his daughter, right? She used the Naviance. He said it was so easy that every time she did an activity, it just became habit. We logged on, put it on there. So if that's your one takeaway from this, lots of information, and I realize that we gave you a lot of information, that's the one thing right now as a 9th grader, in addition to obviously the other things keeping your grades up, that's the one takeaway. Start that habit now, because really you're in 9th and 10th grade, so you still have 2 more years or 3 more years depending on your year. That would be the takeaway from that. Let's go to this. Oh, and Mr. Rosenberg talked about that, so I'm going to skip all that. And then there's just some more links and some good things about it, which was all in there as well. And obviously, this video will be on our YouTube channel, so feel free to watch this part back. Feel free to watch the School Links training back. We do keep all of our videos up there, so you can always watch that. And then with that, I will go to if anyone has any questions. Ms. Gopher, I'm looking at you. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, so the question was about a foreign language for the FLACS for that advanced regions diploma. So there are a few other ways that you can get that category instead of, let's say, a foreign language track and that FLACS exam at the end. So you can do a 5-unit sequence of art or music, or you can do a 5-unit sequence of tech. So like if you're at Bo Berry Tech or something like that, a CTE program, that's a way to replace that. But with that little star next to that, some colleges still, so yes, you'll get the advanced regions diploma, some colleges still want to see foreign language. So, you know, just be aware. Well, FLACS A would have been in 8th grade, at the end of 8th grade. Then you're going to have FLACS B, which is at the end of level 3.
It's no longer a Regents exam.
Oh, yeah.
The benchmark passing test, like students need
To get credit for 8th grade, that's what the A is for.
for just 1 year, just state-based.
The A really, yeah.
Flex B is a consortium. Local.
It's replaced of the Regents exam. So the state got rid of Regents exams, so now they call it a FLACS B. It's treated like a Regents exam for our students. The A is only to get credit. You have to pass 7th grade, 8th grade, and take a FLACS A in order to get that high school advanced credit. Yep. So that's why the B is only the one that's required. So that is something that is changing for this year. So for right now, so yes, the way it currently stands for the question was about, I forget that people are watching online, for honors, Melissa, for the honors or the AP for world history. So right now, the current 10th graders that are in that class, this is the last year that it's optional. It is 10th grade honors. If they take the AP, we switch it on their transcript to say AP, and they get 10% weighting. Everyone always takes it. Everyone always has. You had the option. So if you didn't take it, it stayed honors, and if you're in that class, you're gonna wanna take the AP. So luckily, I did my best convincing skills to Mr. Sorosi, and in next year's curriculum guide, so any 9th graders, if you're going into the world history class for 10th grade, right, that's the global AP, that will be AP, straight from the get-go, and we'll always say AP. Nope, grade on an AP does not matter.
That doesn't go on.
Yeah, I mean, you just wasted $98, but yeah, you can get a 1 and it doesn't matter. The what? Yes, and that's the last year. So for the 9th graders, that won't be, it'll say AP from the get-go. It's very confusing. We gave kids options, but everyone took it because everyone wants the AP. So it'll be much more streamlined. Yep.
Just to clarify, so the 1 to 5 doesn't matter, you get 8 designation.
Correct.
Does the score matter for the 10% weighting?
Nope. So the question was, does a 1 to 5 score on an AP exam matter to get that weighting? Nope, because scores come out in July, class is done, grades are done, and it's the College Board's exam. It's whether or not you can walk into college and say, hey, I got a 3, I got a 4, I got a 5, I want college credit, has no bearing on your high school transcript in any way.
I had a kid one year, got into Notre Dame, got a 1 on the U.S. history AP.
Really?
Notre
That's
Dame.
crazy.
It was a while ago, though.
Let's not spread that around. We're going to erase that from the video. I wouldn't advise ones try to study. Listen, you can get college credit for $98. So a lot of schools, again, 3 or better. Some of the maths they want 4s or 5s, but you can check that with your schools. Any other questions? No, I feel like I wish I had a raffle to give out to you guys for like trekking out here in the hurricane that clearly was outside. But we do thank you all for being here. I thought it was going to be just us and the 6 of us sitting here talking to an empty microphone. And I do actually want to give a shout out to Mr. Larkin in the back for helping us with this very complicated tech situation that I made him do today. So thank you for that. But thank you guys all for coming. It was so good to see you.